Our next presenter is a leading innovator in the design and commercialization of advanced security products and solutions. Their latest venture introduces a world-class nanotechnology platform, KolourOptik, for the authentication, brand protection, anti-counterfeiting, and personal identification market segments. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chairman and CEO, Doug Blakeway.
She's some kind of demon that's in love too. If you don't watch out, it'll stick to you,
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank you for turning out today, and it's been a fantastic conference so far, and I expect it to even be better as the day goes on. Thanks for taking time to learn about Nano. We're a company that deals in holes. Big holes, little holes, small holes, round holes, fat holes, but the size of the holes are in the nanometer scale. We're focused on developing nanometer areas, and in those nanometer areas, we'll cover off where our IP is situated. The past 4 years have been developing and interacting in the R&D, and we're just about to enter commercialization in 2014 here. You can read that at your leisure or pick up a copy of the presentation at our booth. Little background on us and a company snapshot. We have a market cap of about $70 million correctly, and we currently trade at about $1.80. You can see that we've gone to the market and are starting to be recognized this year. It's changed. We have about $3.5 million in cash and a balance sheet that is very strong and a low burn rate. We get a lot of money back on our R&D from government, and so we get to capitalize and leverage that great. All of our employees own stock, and management currently holds more than 31% position in the company. We have a very good IP strategy and portfolio. The portfolio is made up of patents in both technology and processes, and we wrap that all together in trade secrets. So as everyone knows, in trade secrets, you don't have to disclose those, whereas a patent, everyone can see what's going on. We're constantly reviewing and filing new patents, and currently at this stage, we have 13 families of patents with our key patents issued. So they're not pending, they're issued. And we have those in major countries around the world. We've also provided and developed a proprietary software platform that will allow us visualization, and that's wrapped into our IP strategy. We operate at the nano level, and we're truly a nanotech company. While most people know that nano means small, this image illustrates the scale of how small nano is. We operate in the 50 to 100 nanometer level, which is smaller than a wavelength of light. That's why we can define the colors that we get out of everything. To put it another way, the holes that we drill are done with carbon atoms, and 10 carbon atoms are equal to 1 nanometer. All of this means that we can store data at a rate of approximately 3 gigabytes per centimeter squared, which is phenomenal in today's area. The foundation is our technology. We have 3 sources of technology. All are based on microelectronics and can be disposable, as costs are extremely low to produce them, and the goods that we put them on are extremely low in costs. Nanohole arrays or matrices is our number 1. It's used for authentication and brand recognition. It can be used in light blankets to activate creams used on a baby with jaundice. So we cover that off, where creams today are used to activate, and you have harmful light that goes in, and you can only put those babies under for a small amount of time. We also can use anti-aging or cosmetic skin rejuvenation. Again, we activate those components with a blanket or a face mask, and that allows us to take and get rid of the harmful effects and go to specific face creams for rejuvenation. So again, that makes up our area. Additionally, the nano structures can be used for tracking and light sources. And so that would mean instead of having something like a solar cell tracking the sun and having to move across a grid, We take the nanoholes, position them in a way that full concentration is always on that cell, and it's taken, and we don't have to move the object. The second one is energy harvesting. We call that store. And in store, what we have, that is a photovoltaic, and we have something that is printed. And the printed on circuit is painted or printed on so it can stay flexible, be very small. It can energy harvest in very low light conditions, such as a cloudy, rainy day, or in low light levels in a room. And third, we have our storage technology. It is a cross between a nickel hydrate battery and a supercap. And what all we really want to say about that is we can store the electricity extremely quickly, but we can discharge it extremely slowly. So we have the advantages of both worlds. Again, it's a microelectronic technology, and we can paint it. It can be put on something that's flexible, and it easily is taken and moved from area to area and can be disposed of. So it can go directly onto a chip. Counterfeiting isn't just about funny money and cheap knockoffs. Counterfeiting is a $650 billion market today yearly, and it's impact almost every sector of the economy, and it affects you and I every day. While most people think of banknotes and electronics, counterfeiters have become more sophisticated with the globalization of the economy, and we are now seeing everything from car parts to pharmaceuticals being counterfeited, including the bearings on Air Force One. Well, excuse me. The trend is growing, and it's expected to reach $1 trillion by 2015. Our investment highlights is we're ready to disrupt a part of that segment of the $650 billion marketplace. It's $2.5 billion. It's the hologram authentication market, which is looking to replace technology for their aging and easily counterfeited hologram industry. We have an attractive business model that you can see includes royalty revenues, and they're all recurring. And it should drive positive earnings very quickly as we have an extremely low burn rate, and that won't be accelerating. We have a strong portfolio, which is getting stronger every month, and that's the key areas to our growth. The $2.5 billion hologram market is the low-hanging fruit in the branding and anti-counterfeiting market that we're targeting first. We're currently in discussions with customers and channel partners at all sub-segments of this market, and we'll have revenue from the currency and secure ID markets in 2014. Just as important is how we produce color optics, as this can be done with existing machinery in the hologram industry with slight modifications, but more efficiently and effective and with lower costs in running that equipment. We can do roll-to-roll presses, and that's what you see on the left side of the slide, and that's where we run it in mass production in high volumes very quickly. We eliminate a three-step process into a single-step process, which makes it very efficient and cost-effective. So we can stick with hologram pricing today, yet have 2/3 less cost than producing them. We can also supply this technology through injection molding, roll-to-roll printing, as you see here, or direct stamping. All of it can be put on any type of goods directly or onto a label and attached to goods. We concentrate on a royalty basis and limit the business of producing the end products. So we're after a royalty and not just producing products in the end and having high capital costs. We get a per dollar per thousand or a per dollar per square meter for our royalty charges, and that varies on the complexity of what we're producing. You can't counterfeit the technology. You can't photocopy it, you can't scan it, you can't take a photo of it, and you can't take a picture of it. It is impossible to counterfeit and change it around, and that is because as we process and put this technology onto the end products, we eliminated processes. So as we're doing things and somebody tried to reverse engineer, they'd be missing applications of how it goes together. We have the 3 levels of the security covered off, and they are overt, which is what you can see with your naked eye or see the feature in moving. We have covert or semi-covert, which needs something like a magnifying glass to see. And we have forensic, which you need an electronic scanning microscope to see certain data. Below that, we can store data, and we can store it again, as I said, about 3 gigabytes for 1 centimeter squared. As far as manufacturing, the master is made by us, and then we make a remaster that we give to the end user, and they run the equipment off of that, whether it again is in the injection mold process, or in the stamping process, or in the roll-to-roll running process. This is an example of something that you can do on a banknote, and this is in what we call our covert level. So you have your normal imaging. Sorry, a little dry here. And in that, you're able to see something with your naked eye. Then as a first level, which is covert, if you look in the little eyes of the totem pole, you'll see an orca stylized whale jumping and changing color. If you'd like to see any of these things, please come to the booth and in the back, and we'll show you and demo that with a glass. It's extremely intense in color, and the colors can be seen by a far distance. The reason that we want to do that is we want brand recognition. So as we're looking at brand recognition, if you think of something like a Louis Vuitton purse, you would have it, they're knocked off greatly and used today, but across the street, you would be able to see a flash on the side of the purse that you'd see the logo illuminate and turn on and off. So companies in the luxurious goods department can brand their product and see it from afar. It is a great marketing tool for them. Second part is when we get into surface plasmonics, and this is used in such things as the banknote industry. The banknote industry wants you to be able to describe what your security feature is over the phone. How you do this is you take a device, you look at it, you say, will it change color from left and right and from top to bottom? And will those colors not rainbow effect? Will they be a direct color that goes on and off? That's a unique attribute of our product, turning on and off, where a hologram rainbows through its colors back and forth but never turns off. Then you'd be asked to pick that document up and show it up into the light. Once you show it into the light, the colors go away and you're left with a blue, black, gray scenario and an outline. That is done with surface plasmonics. We're the only technology in the world that's able to do that. Our technology, again, can be applied directly on items. So if you think of such things as brake pads, you're not talking about putting a sticker on to verify those things or a bearing for an aircraft. You're talking about it being embedded directly on the product. That gives us a distinctive selling advantage against any other type of product used in authentication. It is great for that, and it shows up. You don't care after the fact that the brake pad wears off the image because it's authenticated at the beginning, and if there was damage to the vehicle or that you wanted to look to see if it failed, you'd be looking at the substrate and see it was from the original manufacturer. That comes into one secondary part is putting it onto batteries, such as in cell phones or in laptop computers. You want to make sure it's an original battery. The image would be embedded directly on the battery and not a label attached to it. So if the battery blows up, the manufacturer knows whether there was a genuine part in it or it was a replacement or a knockoff, and they can't be sued for the damages. Our economics. How do we make money? We have 2 sources of making money. We have the traditional sales model, and in the traditional sales model, we make approximately 60% profit margins. We make the master shim, or the mastering of how they run the product, and that's what we sell to the user that's making. And then secondly, we have a recurring royalty stream that they pay us on a per thousand basis of images or on a per square meter. So we don't get involved in the background of doing things. We get involved in the picking up of the royalties. Given our low burn rate, it only takes a few contracts to break even, and after one single contract, as this example, we would be break even. We would be implementing how our EBITDA line increases substantially. Our market opportunities, as I said, we're going after that 2.5 billion holograph market. We have that broken down into 3 specific areas, and the 3 specific areas are consumer goods, currency, and secure IDs. We're currently in discussions with customers across all of these, and we'll have revenues this year in them. You can see we get paid differently royalty rates depending on the complexity of the products. This slide shows us what happens directly when we had a couple of contracts. Once we move by that 4.5, our EBITDA line on the bottom increases significantly. So as new customers are added, the visibility into the recurring revenue should continue to improve. And looking back at our success over the year, we've acquired 2 companies, one in nanotechnology development company, one in the IP, so we now own all the IP and a patent portfolio ourselves. We've lowered our royalty payments from 9% to 3% of gross sales. We've completed a round of financing at $4.2 million. We've added Frenny Bawa as Chief Commercial Officer, who has been integral in expanding the pipeline of opportunities and closing channel partners. We've secured our first significant channel partner in ITW Security, a Fortune 200 company. So looking into 2014, we expect another strong year of execution as we advance the business and begin to recognize initial revenue from our KolourOptik platform and expand our marketing presence and our market outline. Thanks very much.